Yes, Kent Steffes, the Wonder Boy, the youngest player ever to win $1 million. He had shoulder surgery in April, and since then he has been plotting his return. Weights, running, and rehab. Kent Steffes has done everything he can to get ready. His goal, return with Karai, dominate the action, and once again be able to say,
we've destroyed teams.
Karai and Steffes, the one-time kings of the beach. Together in the 90s, they won 63 tournaments. But now for Kent Steffes, everybody is wondering, as he returns to pro beach volleyball here in Milwaukee, can he recapture the magic of the past? Is Kent Steffes still a god? And perhaps more importantly, is he worthy of Karch? Find out next. From foggy Bradford Beach here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Prime Sports presents the best in men's pro beach volleyball. Today, it's the $100,000 Miller Lite Open. Hi again, everybody. I'm Chris Marlowe, and welcome to the most anticipated tournament of the year. Not only is Kent Steffes back after missing 3 months with shoulder surgery, Randy Stoklos is also here. You might remember Randy had some family illness problems. His mother is much better, thank you. So Big Randy is here. Also Scott Akatubby. You might remember last week he hurt his back in Hermosa Beach, California. Everybody thought it was very bad. He got some rehab on that. A miraculous recovery. Scott Akatubby is here. It's going to be an interesting day, and I'm happy to have my partner, longtime buddy.
We're all here.
Paul Sunderland. I want to talk about Kent Steffes, but first I want to ask you a question. Did Karai do the right thing in dumping Scott Akatubby and picking up Kent Steffes?
Well, that remains to be seen, but I'm not exactly sure that Karch would say that he dumped Ak. Akatubby got seriously hurt on Saturday at Hermosa last week at the F5VP. Had to forfeit, couldn't finish the tournament. Hey, Karch is a businessman. He wants to win the bonus pool, so he practiced with Kent Steffes on Monday. Couldn't get a hold of Akatubby. Finally, they exchanged messages, and Karch made the decision to go with him. But remember, Akatubby and Karai played in 11 tournaments. They won 6 of them and really only had the one bad finish at the F5VB tournament. But Karai and Steffes are back together, and you can imagine, after 15 weeks and 13 missed tournaments, Kent Steffes didn't exactly sleep well last night in anticipation of his first AVP action in a long time.
Well, I couldn't really sleep last night. I was tossing and turning, looking forward to today. I got up, took a long jog, got myself loose, and felt good playing.
Here's a look at Kent Steffes and Karch Karai on Sunday when they played extremely well. On Saturday, different story. They lost in the round before the quarters to Jansen Powers, and Steffes was lousy. You know, he was having trouble passing the ball. Karch was very frustrated, but they have played a ton of games in the losers bracket, and Steffes is getting better and better and better, and as you can tell, they're still in the tournament. We got more on them in a minute.
The most interesting tournament of the year, the most anticipated tournament of the year, maybe the strongest tournament of the year. Let's look at the top 8 seats, and you'll see how the players jumbled up.
Well, this is Murderer's Row. Dodd and Whitmarsh are fabulous and have been all season long. Karai and Steffes at number 2 are back together. Johnson and Loiola. A couple of off weeks the last couple, but they are right there. Akatubby and Stoklos, the entire list, right down to Tanner and Welch. Great. That's the grade 8. That's really the grade 8 right there. All those teams are capable of winning tournaments. The strongest field we've had all year.
Mike Dodd and Mike Whitmarsh have won the winners bracket. We are going to see them a little later in the show. Let's talk about our semifinal matchup. Adam Johnson, Jose Loiola, Karch Karai, and Kent Steffes trying to work their way back. Talk about that matchup.
Well, Adam Johnson and Jose Loiola have struggled the last couple of weeks, 5th and 9th, but they're playing extremely well, and they lost a heartbreaker in 4 sudden death sessions, the longest ever on the AVP tour, to Mike Whitmarsh and Mike Dodd. And yeah, there they are, Karch Karai and Kent Steffes. They have groveled, they have worked, they are back in the finals of the losers.
Pro Beach Volleyball, Chris Marlowe and Paul Sunderland, semifinal action. Karai Steffes, yes. Karai Steffes against Jose Loiola and Adam Johnson. Our first referee is Greg Kraus. And Adam Johnson will serve. Johnson in white. And the side out.
Coach Karai going back to serve.
Adam Johnson, 6'3", 190 pounds, 30 years old, from Laguna Beach, California. Gives the ball to Karai, and Karai with the serve. 1 game to 15, and Johnson cuts it cross court.
Big challenge for Jose Loiola and Adam Johnson to fight off the frustration of that real nail-biting loss in the finals of the winners bracket. There you get a look at Jose, known among his friends, pals, us, and everybody in the volleyball world simply as Loiola. Now 23, 24 years of age and a great volleyball player.
Johnson got the block, and they lead it 1-0. Who should be favored in this one?
Well, I think Adam Johnson and Jose Loiola should be favored. They've played 3 fewer matches during the course of the tournament because Karai and Steffes stubbed their toe very early with some poor play on Saturday. So I would give the advantage early and late to Jose Loiola and Adam Johnson. They should not be nearly as tired.
Kent Steffes has been getting every serve for 2 days. 6'4", 210 pounds. He's 27 years old. Loiola with the serve in black, and he serves an ace. 3-0.
Loiola was really hot after the loss in 4 double. We got to get this terminology because new terminology. 4 sudden death sessions against Don Whitmarsh in the finals of the winners bracket. He thought there was a missed net call that could have ended it for him, and it was really, really something.
20-second timeout was called. We've got a great crowd on hand. 8.5 minutes to go. Loiola serving, and a quick 3 points as that ball banged out of bounds. And so Karai and Steffes will have it. So Kent Steffes, born in Jackson, Michigan, grew up in Pacific Palisades, California, and now lives in Santa Monica, will serve.
Oh boy, that was nearly down. Kent Steffes gets the ace in any case. Jose Loiola very slow in moving after that ball. And it really, you know, deceiving because Steffes is serving with the wind at his back. Loiola and Johnson starting on the good side. That one just died in front of him. Steffes comes right back with a service error.
So Jose Loiola will patrol the net, and Adam Johnson will set to serve it. Johnson out of Laguna Beach, California. He's 30 years old. Went to USC where he was a unanimous All-American. 3-1 is our score. Steffes got it. Steffes has been kind of moving the ball around. We haven't seen the ultimate heat from him, and you can tell he's a little tentative.
Well, Steffes was never really one of the great big bombers out on the beach, and Karai said, look, you know, Steffes, I got to remember, he never hit the ball as hard as Scott Akatub. He never has, never will. But he does move the ball around extremely well. His consistency is certainly big part of what made he and Karch Karai so very successful. But Pat Powers had an interesting comment about Steffes' shoulder. We'll get to that in a second.
Ball whacked out of bounds.
The Peeper, one of the great bombers of all time, both indoors and on the beach, said, look, I've had 2 shoulder surgeries, and it takes a ridiculous amount of time before you're back to 100%. And he says, look, Steffes may feel fine, but he's not there yet.
Serving Loiola, 3-1, and Loiola drills it. Jose Loiola has had a fabulous year. He's already won $90,000. And the big tournaments are yet to come. And the pairing with AJ Adam Johnson has proven to be good, although somewhat erratic.
Well, it's proven to be a good decision, certainly by Adam Johnson, who left Randy Stoklos. Stoklos and Johnson had not won on the beach all season long. Adam Johnson with the ace. Since that time, he's won twice with Jose Loiola and was in 4 straight finals. Maybe headed for another one here in Milwaukee.
Johnson and Loiola looking good early. Will return to Milwaukee. Johnson and Loiola lead by 3. Johnson and Loiola have played beautifully. And Johnson, you can see how Johnson has improved his spiking on the right side.
Well, he's got great snap on the ball from both the right and the left, but certainly his game still evolving as a right side player after he had so much success on the left. And, you know, they just have the fresh legs. It would not be at all surprising if Steffes and Karai were both exhausted at this point. They played a lot of matches over the last couple of days, and the weather's cooperated off and on, but still some very tight matches.
So Karch Karai to put the ball in play. #1 in career money on the Miller Lite AVP Tour. Here comes a little cut, and Karch can't get there. Nice shot.
I tell you, it's one thing to hit the ball from 8 feet off the net, but it's another to slice off the perfect cut shot, get it to the sand. This ball is 7 feet off the net, and look at Loiola. He's able to slice off Karai.
If you can cut Karch, you can cut anybody. Here comes Jose, his team leading 7-1. Karai and Steffes having some problems siding out. Joust coming. Got to come over. Karch touched it. Got to come over. Johnson touched it. Got to come over. Steffes touched it. Put it away.
Hasn't forgot how to slop the ball around the court a little bit. Long rally there. I'll tell you, that will test his tired and weary legs, but determined Kent Steffes. Look at this one, just slicing off. That was like a little fudge wedge.
Little dinker ball. Steffes serving. That saved a point for his team. 7-1. Down the line, chance for a point. Karch on the attack. Got it. Don't go away. Karai and Steffes get a point. Who would you serve if you're Karai Steffes? Would you serve Johnson or Loiola, and why?
At this point, I think I would serve Adam Johnson.
Yep. Give me the why in a second. They go to Johnson. Johnson against Karch, and Johnson manhandles it.
I mean, that's just kind of a pick-em answer and pick-em question, Chris, because both Loiola and Johnson, different styles of hitting, but very, very effective. But I would try to work on Adam Johnson a little bit because he's blocking now. He's carrying just as much load blocking as Jose Loiola, and try to work on him, get him mentally fatigued more than anything else, and serve him very tough and make Loiola into a tough setter.
Working on Steffes, and Steffes, a nice little cut shot.
See, if Steffes and Karai can come back, I think the key will be to match Johnson and Loiola in terms of their serving intensity. They're going to have to serve just as well as Johnson and Loiola, or maybe even better, to get back in this game.
Karai serving, trailing 7-2.
Karch hitting it hard.
Tough serve, point. So Karai and Steffes get a couple. We'll take the turn. 5:48 to go. 7-3. A.J. Loiola by 4.
God, I was right for a change.
Tour of the previous 7.
Early on, Karch, Karai, Kent Steffes looked very, very well. As you can imagine, 15-0 over Zapata and Martin would change after that. That was not really a good test. That came in the second round against Jansen Powers, where Jansen Powers upset the former Kings of the Beach.
I think I'm good right now. I think we, just because we lost isn't an indication of my arm or what I'm doing. I think they just played a great game. We played a really lousy game. And I think we're going to have a much better time throughout the tournament.
Well, that better time wouldn't come right away. Matt Sonicson and Billy Suara took Karai and Steffes right down to the wire, 14-13. That could have been a horrible finish for Karai and Steffes, but they would move on. Hammered Duarte and Fellows 15-3. Got a little bit of a break. You can see how beautiful it was earlier in the day here in Milwaukee. It got cloudy later on. Karai and Steffes would finish this match out against Marcelo Duarte and his partner and move along. And then we got to Beef Louie once again. This was very contentious, Chris. Very competitive. Beef Louie had the 12-9 lead, but Steffes and Karai kept playing, kept competing. And I'll tell you, Karch put in a little extra effort in this game. They went on and won 15-12. And then it was a rematch in the next round as Karai and Steffes continued to play more and more volleyball. They get back to Jansen Powers. You see Foggy 1 minute and Good the next. This is actually against Stoklos and Akatubby. This match played at a very, very high level. It was 4-1 after about 3.5 minutes of action. Karai and Steffes eventually went on and won, and they would advance to the finals of the losers bracket.
So Karai and Steffes have been working their way through the contenders bracket. They have a loss. Adam Johnson and Jose Loiola have a loss. 5:48 to play in the game. 7-3, Johnson and Loiola. AJ tapping it down the line. There's a slight breeze from our left to our right. So Johnson and Loiola now on the good side as Jose Loiola goes back to serve. He's 25 years old, born March 28th, 1970. 4 wins and a big jump serve. Steffes. And Steffes dug up. Point coming. Jose!
Loiola playing some big-time defense. That's a second or third reaction play he's made covering the court extremely well. Loiola playing behind Adam Johnson. Gets to the dink very quickly and then detonates at the end of it for the score.
8-3 our score now. Steffes going on to. You don't have to hit it 3 times. And now Kent Steffes will go back and serve. Steffes, a graduate of UCLA, and got his degree in economics. Surgery on April 5th. Sling off on May 15th. And now back as Johnson cuts it inside. So Johnson and Loiola get the ball. They lead it 8-3. And now Adam Johnson, considered the 3rd best server on the beach in terms of the Powerade serving challenge. AJ came in with 186 aces, trailing Brian Lewis and James Fellows. Steffes.
Karch with a high platform.
Yeah, very nice. But Johnson with a high dig. And he puts it away.
AJ with a kill. And
Karch hitting the ball right to Johnson.
Well, they're doing a good job of reading. Both Jose Loiola and Adam Johnson scrambling, covering the court, digging balls.
You might be right about the fatigue factor setting in for Karai and Steffes.
Well,
of course, Steffes has been out for 3 months, but Karai has really had to play a lot harder in terms of trying to help Steffes through this tournament.
See Karch, Karai, and Kent Steffes back together this week. But, you know, Karch wants to win the bonus pool, so he's keeping his options open with respect to who he may play with in the future.
I'm keeping everything open at this point. I would really like to win the Miller Grand Prix, and finishing 5th and 7th is not going to do it.
It's only worth
be sure of that.
Yeah, you're darn right.
Karch got that figured out.
It's also got it. He's also got it figured out that winning that is worth $125,000.
Johnson, bingo. Johnson and Loiola on fire.
It's a sprint right now, and give a lot of credit to Johnson and Loiola. They struggled the last couple of weeks. They were really not good last week in horrific conditions in Belmar, struggled through the heat to a 9th, and the week before that a 5th. That's not their kind of level of play.
And what's interesting is that Johnson and Loiola really not doing it that much with their serving. They're blocking some balls, they're digging some balls.
Doing it with a complete game.
Yeah, exactly.
They set the tone and got a slight lead early with some aces. But since then, they've just outplayed Karai and Steffes.
Karai serve is long. 10-3 is our score. Chris Marlowe and Paul Sunderland with you from Bradford Beach. And now the fog descending on the championship court.
I don't know.
Wolfman Paul
You don't need a foghorn very often.
Starting to feel good about it. Loiola's serving. Soft put away there. And the side out. Mike Dodd, Mike Whitmarsh coming up next for one of these two teams. And now Steffes will serve. Karch practiced with Kent this past Monday and thought Kent looked pretty good. One of the reasons leading to his decision. Loiola over Karch and the put away. Jose Loiola ever improving on the Miller Lite AVP Tour, getting better and better.
Well, and seeing a lot of the parts of his game that we didn't see when he was playing with Anginio because he blocked all the time. We never had a chance to see Loiola's foot speed, except maybe when he was chasing down a dig. Now we're seeing him play some defense, transition, getting to see a lot more of his game.
Johnson with the service error, and now Karch will go back. Karch and Kent, a very patient team. And if you had to characterize Johnson and Loiola in the past, they've been a very impatient team. When their serving is going, when they've got it going, they've been very good. But can they grind out? Woo! AJ, wow. Clobbered it.
Acknowledging his partner, Jose Loiola, for a perfect bump set. Loiola on the move just a little bit. You want to have your feet set when you're addressing the ball in the setting position. And AJ said, I like that one.
You saw the smile of Adam Johnson. Talk more about that in 1 second. Steffes is off the net. Johnson with a dig. And Karch peppers it.
Unlike the match before this against Akatubby and Stoklos, all kinds of time left. I mean, that game lasted forever.
Points have been scored very quickly in this one, so there is a chance for a comeback. But I think Karai and Steffes would have to get over 10-5 and get to the good side. Loiola looping it.
Well, Loiola and Johnson are passing and setting the ball impeccably right now. And they're two of maybe the top 5 or 6 hitters on the beach.
They're talking about Adam Johnson and smiles. A couple of fans came up to AJ after he started playing with Loiola and said, AJ, I didn't see you smile at all. Not once when you were playing with Randy Stoklos for all that time. He said, well, I'm having a good time now, enjoying playing with Loiola. He played well with Randy, but I don't think they liked it all that much. As Steffes, well,
you know,
little snap.
Expectations sometimes are you know, a heavy cross to bear, and I think we were the ones that called them Dream Team too.
You sure did.
And probably started all of that, but they were under a lot of pressure to challenge Karai and Steffes and win a lot of tournaments, and it didn't happen.
Loiola and Johnson have been siding out flawlessly. I really like the way Johnson and Loiola are setting each other. They're bumping it in the right zone, but they're bumping it very high. Both of them like a high set, I think.
Well, both long loping approaches. It gives them a chance to look at the block and really analyze, at least in that full split second, what they want to do with the ball.
Good pass by Karch. It's 10-3, and Karch smothers it. 4:07 to play in the game. Karai and Steffes trailing Johnson Loiola by 7 points.
Our video looks crystal clear, but it is really foggy up top. I'm looking across at the grandstand and whatnot, getting chilly, I would imagine, down on the court. I know it is up here.
Going with the jacket.
Glad to hear that, Chris.
Come on! Off the top and down goes Adam Johnson. Of course, Johnson, the reigning king of the beach. He won the Old Spice tournament at the end of last year, taking it away from Karch Karai after Karch had won it the previous 3 years. So one king to another king. 10-3, Johnson Loiola lead it. Both teams playing very steady right now.
But that one might have tattooed the top of the tape and then dribbled out of bounds. But indeed, both teams have settled down after a great start by Adam Johnson and Jose Loiola. 7-point lead, under 4 minutes to play. And what Karai and Steffes are not doing, I'll tell you, they're not blocking any balls. They're not getting any transition opportunities. They have no stuff blocked so far in this game.
You saw that in 92, 13 straight wins, tying Jim Menges and Greg Lee. We'll take a quick timeout. We're coming back. It's 10-3, AJ Jose. Adam Johnson and Jose Loiola have led all the way. They jumped out 7-1. Karch and Kent got 2 points to make it 7-3, but then 8, 9, and 10 for AJ Loiola. That's where we stand, a 7-point advantage. Steffes serving. And the cut is out of bounds.
Loyola's got to forget that. His team's been playing flawlessly. One mistake in about 15 minutes, you just have to put it behind you.
You know, we mentioned how good Loiola has become at shots and things, but sometimes you can fall in love with those shots.
That's
when you're
true.
A big bomber.
You got to remember what brought you to the dance.
Let's see if Loiola beans this one or tries another shot. He crushes it, yeah. Maybe Adam Johnson said, look, hit that thing. Whack that thing.
Well, he's been very good offensively throughout the entire weekend. I've seen several of their matches, and I can't remember more than a handful of hitting errors.
So from behind Johnson, his team with a 6-point lead.
Steffes is passing much better than the beginning of this tournament. He was having all kinds of problems. That's just rust. I mean, you cannot miss 15 weeks and walk back out here. You can train with your buddies. Yes. You can get with Albert Hanneman and Matt Unger and all those guys, but they don't serve, quite frankly, like Adam Johnson or Brian Lewis or Jose Loiola for that matter.
Good point. Tough serve by Karch. AJ goes and gets it and chops it cross court. That's the shot that Johnson didn't have early on his right side career, is that hard, sharp cross court.
I'll tell you, this is good hustle by Loiola, but look at the shot by Adam Johnson. Heavy curveball. Hit the outside of the ball, snap it off.
Serving Karch. That's how well Steffes has been playing. As Loiola can't get there, he's starting to get some serves. Early in the tournament, Kent Steffes got every one.
He got every one in the beginning of this game. So far, Steffes has received 21 serves. His partner, Karai, only 8. There you see the service story. Very balanced by Johnson and Loiola, meaning that neither one of them are giving up any points, and Karai and Steffes can't find an answer.
Karch and Kent, quite frankly, looking for the opening, looking for some weakness.
Serve AJ a couple times in a row. He comes through. They'll go back to Loiola, and neither one of them are giving up points, as evidenced by the 6-point lead on the board right now, as the sun comes back out.
Funky day here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
10-4. Not over and out yet. 3:13 to play. And Karch continues to get serves. And Karch hit one out. And they got a touch. Someone touched the ball. So the side out. And Karch will have it. Tough decision for Karch. He was agonizing ever since Akitabi hurt his back in Hermosa on what to do. Should I pick Steffes or Akitabi? As Loiola.
Well, and Stoklos, as he talked to me a couple of weeks ago when I ran into him, he said, look, I'm going to take whoever Karch doesn't.
Yes.
If he stays with Ak, I'm with Steffes. If he goes to Steffes, I'm with Ak.
Serving Karch again at 10-4. And Loiola's there to go to 11-4. Yes. So Karch and Kent are in deep trouble. They trail AJ and Loiola 11-4. From both beaches, interestingly, Scott Friedrichsen and Eric Wirtz, perhaps exhausted by the performance last weekend, take 17th this week with a host of other teams. They split $950. Last weekend, they finished second and split $15,000. So from the penthouse to the outhouse for Friedrichsen and Wirtz.
And asked Eric Wirtz, I said, look, with your success, why don't you go play on the FIVB tour? And he says, well, I talked to Carl Hinkle, and he and St. John are going to be on the road for 11 straight weeks. And I just don't want to do that.
Okay. Come on. Kent Steffes down the line. It's 11-4. Nice. Johnson and Loiola. Not yet. Karch digs back. Looking for a point. Or save a point. And Johnson can't get it up. So side out, that saved a point. No point recorded.
Johnson and Loiola look so solid. You have to wonder, and when you look at the serving numbers, both Johnson and Loiola getting an even share of points. Karai and Steffes unable to sort of crack their ability to side out. How are Karai and Steffes going to run enough points in a row to get back in this thing?
I think one of the problems for Karai and Steffes in their serving is they're serving it right to Johnson and Loiola. Their jump serves are not going line or hubby wife area or cross court. A lot of the tough jump serves that they've served up have gone right to
a lot of velocity, but it's like the fastball right down the pipe. Usually against a good hitter, that one's hit out of the park, and against these passers, it's no problem.
Kent Steffes high off the tops of the hands. If you just joined us, Karai and Steffes have trailed the entire game, getting behind 7-1, 10-3, and now it's 11-4. Karai Steffes guaranteed at least a third place, and there's an ace.
And that one had great location. Good velocity, of course, but the location is all the key. To Johnson's left side, you can see him hugging the sideline just a little bit, but that one almost untouchable up the middle.
11-5 now, and Karch again.
Well, I guess that's how you score points in a row in a real hurry to break down the side-out confidence of Loiola and Johnson.
I asked Kent Steffes, why doesn't Karch serve harder in the games? He said, I don't know. He serves so hard during the week. He gets like 6 aces out of 30 points, but he becomes tentative sometimes when we're not siding out. I got to go tell him to serve harder. All right, we'll take a quick timeout. Karai Steffes coming back just a bit. Don't go away. Dominating this game, although Karai and Steffes just moments ago getting a couple aces off that AVP Spalding ball. One down the hubby wife, one down the sideline, and trailing by just 5. Still lots of time. 2 minutes and 26 seconds to go in the game.
Yeah, velocity was enough. Rod Dibble would be in the Hall of Fame. You got to have some location too.
Karch is cranking it now. Loiola's off the net, and now he's into the net.
they start hearing some footsteps. Remember, they had the big lead against Dodd and Whitmarsh. Karch is doing it with his serve. This one high middle. Loiola with a pretty good chance to swing on this ball, but finds the middle of the net.
11-7, and Johnson puts it away.
We talked a lot about going back to the guy who just made a mistake, but in that case, Karai just trying to serve the ball as tough as he can. Doesn't really matter who he gets it on.
2:15 to play. Johnson and Loiola by 4.
Good.
Ace! Oh. That's 2 right in that same corner.
This is like Joran Ivanisevic and Boris Becker, Pete Sampras. You take it at Wimbledon. Look at that, just untouchable. A couple of serves by Jose Loiola to Karch's left down the line.
Little off speed. And Steffes jukes it down the line. 12-7 is our score. Steffes Karai trail. Look at the errors. Both have 7, both have 4 aces. So the service story has been the same.
Yeah, great serving by both teams. You take that ratio anytime.
That's trouble. Oh, and Johnson. A beautiful little cut shot.
He didn't bring out the knuckle, just waited and waited. AJ slicing it off at the very last moment. Steffes looking for the knuckle. AJ disguises it very, very well. Steffes was waiting for the pokey over the top of Karch. Nobody in the cross court.
AJ up by 5. Could be 6 right here. Johnson looking for the point. Got it. Adam Johnson, Jose Loiola. 13, Karai Steffes, 7 when we come back. The shootout Sunday, September 17th. That will be live on Prime Sports. We should tell you that they're going to pick the players by seed, by computer ranking, and right now it would be Karai, Dodd and Whitmarsh, and Kent Steffes in terms of the top 4 seeds. But that 4th seed could change, couldn't it?
Well, there are a lot of players who could move into that spot. Adam Johnson, Randy Stoklos, Jose Loiola, Scott Akatubby. There are a lot of big tournaments, and certainly to be determined who moves into that last and final spot. It looks like Dodd and Whitmarsh are certainly going to be there. Steffes served 25 times in just this game alone, and it's been the same story throughout the course of the weekend. This is their 9th game. Adam Johnson and Jose Loiola, who advanced to the finals of the winners bracket before they suffered their first loss. This is only their 6th game.
It's been all Johnson and Loiola in this one. A 13-7 lead after leading early 7-1. So beach volleyball's #1 man, Karch Karai, set to serve. #1 on the computer. #1 in all-time money winnings. 1:50 to play, 13-7. Johnson and Loiola looking for a rematch with Mike Dodd and Mike Whitmarsh.
And Johnson and Loiola got to stay aggressive here. Still keep trying to serve aces, get this match over with. And in spite of the overcast skies and whatnot, Dodd and Whitmarsh been resting a long time after they won the winners bracket. Adam Johnson and Jose Loiola need as much rest as they can get this match over with.
You know, we're not going to have a lot of time to talk about this afterwards. If Karai and Steffes finish 3rd here, what kind of a result is that in your mind for them?
I think it's fine. I mean, Steffes' first tournament back after missing 15 weeks, 13 tournaments overall. And then look where they lost. They lost the 2nd round of the tournament. If they would have finished 3rd and gotten to the finals of the winners bracket, I would say, wait a minute, that ain't so good. But losing in the 2nd round of the tournament and then coming all the way back through, I think they would consider a pretty acceptable result.
Some of the other finishers, Randy Stoklos and Scott Akatubby, new team this week, finish 4th. And Gino and Hovland, Al Jansen, Pat Powers in 5th. Daniel Cardenas playing with Brent Frohoff this week. Bill Bouillon, Brian Lewis. Those 2 teams finished in 7th.
And if you're a Rob Heiger fan and are wondering why Brent Frohoff was not with his regular partner, Heiger just wanted to take the weekend off. Said he was burned out with all the big tournaments upcoming, Seal, the Cuervos, and Manhattan, and Hermosa. He just needed a weekend off, he felt.
Here's Karch, and there it goes, 13-7. Score remains. Karai and Steffes in deep trouble here. Karai and Steffes need to score points and need to do it quickly.
When Steffes serves aces, it's usually down the sideline to Loiola, that sideline.
Come on! Not able to get many points off Johnson. He's been pretty solid on the right.
Adam Johnson now with 16 kills. He's received 15 serves, and no, that's not a mathematical impossibility. Of course, you dig a ball, get a shot in transition, and then put it away. You can have certainly more kills than serves received. But he's been very efficient.
Okay. Steffes out of the reach. Side out. So Karch will have it. Never did actually talk to Scott Akatubby during the week in terms of partnerships. Left a number of phone messages for Akatubby and vice versa. Johnson down the line.
They have been very, very steady. Unforced errors for Loiola and Johnson, only 2 throughout the course of the entire match. Both of those by Loiola. AJ, errorless volleyball right now.
Nobody up, and Steffes puts it away.
And AJ scolding himself for not hammering that right into the sand to get to match point. He's got to put that ball away. His partner with a good serve.
You know, an interesting point in between 20-second timeouts, the beach doctor giving Adam Johnson some glucose solution, some sugar water to drink down. What'd you call that, Randy? Glucose solution. Randy Stoklos up in the booth watching our semifinal. Loiola tees off.
And Randy telling us that he thought, you know, and he should know, played with AJ a long time. AJ starting to look a little bit tired. Had some fatigue problems last week, of course, in Belmar, but so did everybody else. One of the umpires passed out, and as usual, he wasn't doing anything.
Adam Johnson and his partner Jose Loiola leading 13-7. Loiola dug it up. Bye-bye.
Jose Loiola, the one with the fresh legs, and we just got word from our production truck that Adam Johnson took an IV bag right before this game. Adam Johnson took an IV before this game, so obviously they're still feeling the effects from Belmar last week.
Game point, Johnson Loiola. And it's out of bounds. Ball hit out of bounds. So the second chance, Loiola and Johnson missing a number of jump serves. 14-7 they lead it. AJ still. Little snap-over there, Paul.
36.9 seconds left, and you say Karai and Steffes absolutely no chance. We've seen stranger things, but this would be really strange. But you got to play it out. I mean, Loiola could sprain his ankle. Obviously, you don't want anything bad to happen to a player, but you know, unless you're down to your last gasp and still down by 5 or 6 points, you got to play every point very, very hard.
Another chance at match point, and Steffes punches it through.
Violation charge Loiola, side out, Karch to serve at 7-14.
Karai had very little success, neither was Steffes against Loiola. They might start thinking about serving at Adam Johnson.
14-7, Johnson and Loiola. Johnson once again third on the Powerade serving challenge. Loiola is fifth. Loiola it's a way to move up.
Look, with a very, very high reverse sky ball.
Wow, he blew the whistle before that thing even landed.
Well,
but the
timekeeper is not supposed to stop the clock until the ball hits the sand.
But what I'm saying is the referee blew the whistle before the ball hit the sand.
Well, that was a mistake by him.
I guess he's saying it was out before it came
No,
back.
you can't blow your whistle till the ball hits the sand.
14-7, 24 seconds to go. Karch got it up. Loiola goes and gets it.
And this rally will not help Karai and Steffes. Nor will that stuff fly. Johnson and Loiola have been very good throughout the course of this match, and Jose Loiola has really stepped it up at the very end of the match. After the 13-7 side change, he's been getting a lot of serves, and he just has not made any mistakes.
Game point. This is going to be it, and it is.
Started with an ace. That's how Loiola and Johnson established the tempo of this match early, and ended with a rebound winner off the hand of Adam Johnson.
Convincing win for Adam Johnson and Jose Loiola. Question now, do they have enough left to challenge Mike Dodd and Mike Whitmarsh in our final? Stay with us. We've got more of the Miller Lite Open coming up on Prime Sports.